Okay, before we start our class, please recite doa. Anyone please recite doa? Amirul Fitri, please recite doa. Amirul Fitri.
Yes.
Alright, okay, thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka wa anshur alaina min hazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin.
Alright, thank you. Okay, before we start our lecture, alright, I need to check on the list name of your class first because as for this week, okay, the total up additional student up to 41 of you. Okay, I need to check one by one. Not check is there any missing name so that I can refer to the coordinator. Alright, so first I know Safia. Are you there?
Yes, Miss.
Alright, Ain Zahin.
Yes, Miss.
Alright, Asmanuha.
Yes, Miss.
Alright, Auni Adlina.
Saya, Miss.
Okay,
Saya,
Izian
Miss.
Aiza.
Saya, Miss.
Karunisa Husna.
Saya, Miss.
Right, Liana Suraya.
Saya, Miss.
Okay, Muhammad Amirul Luqman. Muhammad Akil.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, Muhammad Azim Amza.
Yes, Miss.
Alright, Muhammad Daniel Amir.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, Muhammad Syafiq.
Yes, Miss.
Nazira binti Abdul Karim.
Yes, Miss.
Nur Iyani. Nur Iriyani. Nur Shahiba.
Yes, Miss.
Nur Afika.
Miss. Saya Iriani.
Okay, you Irani. Alright. Nur Afika.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Nur Amir Aliza. Nur Amira Aliza. Nur Akila.
Yes, Miss.
Alright. Nur Atirah.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Nur Fitrah. Aisyah.
Saya.
Okay. Nur Masdiana.
Saya, Miss.
Right. Nur Quratul Ain.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Nur Sarah Hanani.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Nur Zulaika Izati.
Yes, Miss.
Nur Alisa Aina. Nur Alisa Aina. Nurin Afrina.
Yes, Miss.
Alright. Nurul Arisa.
Yes, Miss.
Nurul Izati Nasharuddin.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Nurul Izati Fatil.
Yes, Miss.
Oko Ama. Putri Nur Fatiha.
Yes, Miss.
Rahiman Arif. Rahiman Arif. Sahidatul Amira.
Yes, Miss.
Siti Khadijah. Siti Khadijah. Siti Miasara,
Yes, Miss.
Siti Nobalkis.
Saya, Madam.
Alright. Siti Norain Natasha,
Yes, Miss.
Siti Nohanisa. Right. Waila Anis. Waila Anis Iman. Wan Muhammad Farhan. Oh, Waila, okay. Sekejap
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Wan Nurul Hanis. Wan Nurul Hanis. Okay, wait I repeat balik. Okay. No Amira Aliza. Are you there? No Amira Aliza. No Alisa Aina. Oko Amma. Rahiman Arif. Siti Khadijah. Okay, and Wan
Yes,
Nurul
madam.
Hanis. Siapa tadi just now? Sorry.
Siti Khadijah.
Okay, Siti Khadijah. Alright. Wan Nurul Hanis. Okay, Wan Nurul Hanis. Okay. Alright, is there any name that I didn't call?
It's me, Miss
Okay, your name?
Nazaruddin.
Oh, Nazaruddin. You dah settle your set 1 belum?
Dah set one.
Dah.
Dah settle lah. Dah aktif lah.
Okay. Active ya. Okay. Alright, nanti I will check with the coordinator. Okay. Others?
Saya Miss.
Muhammad Amirul Lokman. Ke apa?
Muhammad Amirul Fitri.
Muhammad Amirul Fitri. Wait, Muhammad Amirul Fitri. Yes, your name pun still tak ada dekat I punya SMS. Alright, tak apa. I will check with coordinator. Muhammad Amirul Fitri. Alright, thank you. Okay, sorry for last week. Okay, I on emergency leave. Okay, because I need to taking care of my dad. Alright, admitted dekat KPJ. So this week, so yesterday there is no class because of the event raya. So that we will have our class replacement on Friday, 8 to 10. Okay, and then for the last week punya class, we will be replace our class on Saturday. Alright, combined with the section 1 Saturday. Okay, so last week I owe you up to 6 hours. Okay, so based on the course planner, alright, so for this week, I need to finish chapter 5 and also proceed with the 2 hours for the tutorial, so that we will have 4 hours for lecture and also 2 hours for tutorial for the class replacement. Okay, so as I discussed yesterday with the section 1, alright, so we will combine the class replacement on Saturday, start at 9 o'clock up to 1 o'clock. But then right after we finish chapter 5, we can dismiss the class, no problem. Okay, so for the other 2 hours, okay, I will upload the tutorial in the LMS so that I bagi you up to 2 days to finish your punya submission for the tutorial. Okay, so for last week punya class, okay, the 6 hours class replacement will be on Saturday, 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock. For based on the course information and the course planner for this subject, this week I need to finish up to chapter 5 and also run the 2 hours for tutorial, so that insyaAllah on Saturday paling lambat pun I rasa up to 2 hours saja. InsyaAllah by 11 kita boleh dismiss class and then you can proceed with the tutorial. Okay. And then for today plan, alright, if for today punya plan, alright, for today, sorry, for this week punya plan, alright, I need to finish up to 2 chapter 3 and 4 based on the macro and also the macro and also the micro environment and also the ethics of the marketing, and also on chapter 4 based on consumer buying behavior. So that today, inshallah, we try to finish on chapter 3 first on the macro and also micro environment and also the ethics of the marketing. And then inshallah on Thursday, we proceed with the first subtopic on chapter 4. And then on the Friday, for the class replacement on for the yesterday class, all right, inshallah, we will finish on the remaining chapter 4 with the other 3 subtopic. Okay, so I have uploaded the chapter 3 slide in the apps. Okay. All right, so today for the chapter 3, based on the marketing environment and also the marketing ethics. All right, so on chapter 1, we have discussed on what is the marketing itself, the foundation of marketing, when we talk about 4 Ps, and then yes, as the marketers and also the businesses need to know who's their right target market, right, who's their right customer to tailor the product and also their service, and then yes, to compete with the other competitors, you need to have a good value proposition, all right, where's your brand stand in the market, okay. And then on chapter 2, we have discussed based on strategic planning in terms of how as marketers to remain competitive, to sustain in the today's industry. Of course, you need to have a good strategic plan to compete with the other competitors. We have discussed about vision and mission, and then yes, consultant consultant BCG, Boston Consultant Group, and also based on the product and market expansion. Okay, so for today's chapter, okay, there are total of 4 subtopics. So first we will discuss on the micro environment, micro, which is the close actor or the close pressure that the marketers will face to running their businesses. And then on the macro environment, what are the bigger scope from the external environment that can influence the decision or the strategic planning of the businesses. Okay, and then next we proceed with 3.3 in terms of the ethical behavior in business and also CSR. Okay, so first, as the overview, which is the Philip, right? So Philip Lighting is number 1 in the world market for lighting, but as the marketing environment constantly change, Philip has realized that assessing multiple factors for change is vital to the understanding of current and probable future shift. All right. So, for example, within the same industry of lighting, all right. So we know how Philip need to compete with the others brand. For example, came from LG Electronic, Panasonic, General Electric, Siemens, GE, Helken, and Osram. All right. So how as the Philip can remain competitive, all right, compete with the other competitors, of course, by improvised goal for R&D and also offering different level of product line to suit with the customer needs and the wants. Okay. Right, so first subtopic on describe the micro environment. Okay, so how as the businesses, the marketer can compete, can remain sustained in the marketplace, which is yes, you need to measure what are the level of pressure forces that you face that came from the micro, which is small, close within your industry, and also the bigger scope that can influence your strategic planning. Okay, so first on the micro environment, the actor or the factor or the forces close to the company that affect its ability to serve his customer, the factor or element in firm immediate environment which affect its performance and decision making. All right, so before you measure, analyze the bigger scope of pressure, all right, forces that will influence the decision making of the company, of course you can measure from the small scope closest actor that can affect the business decision. All right, so for the micro environment, all right, there are total of 6 actors that will affect, that will influence, that can pressure the decision making of the company, which is yes, within the company itself, all right, because we know within the company we involve with different level of unit, different departments, so that different departments have their own objective and goal that can align with the vision and mission. Okay, and then next, of course, the close actor, the close pressure that the marketers we face came from the supplier. Okay, the supplier who's supplying the raw material and also the ingredient to the company, of course, can pressure play a role in terms of yes, asking a big numbers of commission, pressure on increasing the supplying the cost of material and so on. Okay, and the next actor we have on the marketing intermediaries, which is yes, the middleman. All right, so to remain sustained, of course, you as the marketers need to have a good need to have a good marketing intermediaries channel members that can help the business operation run smoothly. Okay, later kita akan discuss in detail. And then next, yes, the competitors, which is the closest actor, pressure factor that will affect strategic planning of the marketers, and then the public, which is yes can be the general, internal, external, or awam. All right. So how the public, the citizens, sometimes can push, can pressure the businesses, and also the last one, the customer. Okay. So we don't like. Because the marketing talk about the foundation of satisfying the needs and the wants of the customer. Of course, the customer will act as the main actor in the macro environment. Okay, kita tengok details. Alright, so first as the company, integrated group in the company form the internal environment. All right, so we know within the company as the marketing or the big corporation, normally they will form different departments so that how these different department work as a unit. All right, so in designing marketing plan, marketing management take other company group into account. Groups such as top management, finance, R&D, purchasing, operation, human resource, and accounting. With marketing taking the lead, all departments from manufacturing and finance to legal and human resources share the responsibility for understanding customer need and creating customer value. So basically, why as the one corporation can success? Because yes, they have a good consensus, a good understanding between the members of the company, from the top management cross all department and also cross to the workers. Okay, but sometimes why within the company can pressure, can influence the planning of the businesses? Because yes, for example, for the R&D and also the marketing department, normally they will asking on the big numbers of fund to go for R&D design, all right, go for the innovation and so on. But then these two department, R&D and also the marketing department, always facing this kind of conflict with the accounting, the bursary unit, because yes, we know the nature of accounting always go for the cost efficiency and so on. All right, sometimes because of the conflict dispute within the industry, within the company itself, can give pressure towards achieving the strategic planning of the businesses. Okay. All right, and then the second factor, all right, the second actor that can influence the planning of the businesses, which is based on the supplier. Supplier provide the resources needed by the company to produce its goods and services. So we know in terms of how supplier supply raw material, ingredient to the businesses so that they can proceed for the production. Okay, supplier problems seriously affect marketing, which is based on supply shortage or delay, labor strike, price stand of key input that can harm the company's sales volume. So you can see in terms of how supplier, all right, play as a key role in the macro environment, because yes, without the supplier, the company cannot proceed with the process punya pace to produce the end product, which is the product or the services. Okay, so currently in terms of how the big corporation handling the business, avoid on this issue, on this that will affect their businesses, the marketing activity. For example, IKEA currently relies on about 1,000 suppliers in 51 countries to stock its chef, because we know IKEA operate the business worldwide. All right, so how to cater this demand worldwide? That's why this the IKEA company, all right, come up with this strategy, okay, to avoid the dispute conflict in future with the supplier. That's why they go interview and also have a good agreement with up to 1,000 supplier all over the world. Okay. Any question?
No, Miss.
Okay. All right, and then next, yes, home furnishing retailer IKEA knows the importance of building close relationship with its extensive network of supplier. Okay, because we know how IKEA offer different label product line, contohnya furniture dekat office, bed frame, bed sheet, kids mirror and so on. That's why they need a good numbers of supplier to supply all these products to the customer. Okay. And then next parties, next actor that can influence the strategic planning of the marketers, the businesses, which is based on the marketing intermediaries, all right, the middleman. Marketing intermediaries, which is based on the third party, help the company to promote, sell, and distribute its product to final buyer. So that we know based on the four P's in terms of how as the marketers need to define searching the right place to sell the product. All right, so how as the marketers define searching the right place to sell the product. Of course, normally they will hire the distribution channel based on hiring wholesaler, reseller, intermediaries to sell the product to the customer. Okay, so first marketing intermediaries, which is based on reseller. Reseller are distribution channel firm that help the company find customer or make sale to them. Wholesaler and retailer that buy and resell merchandise. Alright, so normally kalau big corporation that have a lot of product line, for example Nestle, what else? Kimberly, Nestle, Kimberly, Coca-Cola, for example, normally they need this help from reseller to sell the product to the customer. Okay, it's up to the reseller, but then normally each of the company we set the price maximum for each of the item because kita nak conflict dispute within the members or customer in future. Okay, and then next on the physical distribution firm, help the company stock and move good from their point of origin to their destination. Alright, for those company operate overseas ataupun worldwide, of course they need help from this wholesaler and also transportation firm to carry the product point A and to point B. Alright, today with the issue of rising cost of living, rising cost of all and so on, how these marketing intermediaries, alright, both reseller and also physical distribution firm can pressure the company to increase the amount of commission, to increase the price of the product to cover the cost of operation on the behalf of the company. Okay, and then next on the marketing service agency. The marketing research firm, advertising agency, media firm, and marketing consulting firm that help the company target and promote its product to the right market. All right. For example, big corporation normally they will outsource the marketing service agency to run the research in the marketplace to define what are the needs and the wants of the customer. And then yes, sometimes how big corporation, for example, in Malaysia, Petronas, the MB, okay, hiring this outsource advertising company to run the promotion on the behalf of the company, so that these marketing intermediaries, the middlemen acting as these marketing service agency, can pressure the businesses to achieve their strategic planning in terms of to demand more payment from this corporation. Okay, and then next on the financial intermediaries include bank, credit company, insurance company, and other businesses that help finance transaction or insure again that risk associated with the buying and selling of good. All right, so basically for the businesses, the marketers to expand the business or the business portfolio, of course you need a numbers of good fund grant from this body of institution of the financial intermediaries. All right, so how sometimes these financial intermediaries, okay, can affect your strategic planning to expanding the business or the business portfolio, because of they will check on the account statement in terms of the credit term and so on. All right, so sometimes these financial intermediaries can block the business to expanding the business in overseas and so on, because the financial intermediaries not granting you the fund or the grant for your businesses. Okay. All right, and then next, for example, Apple provide its retail partner with much more than just phone and smartwatch. It also play a powerful technical support. All right, so for example, why as the Apple became top 5 brand in the world? Because yes, they have a good supply chain member. All right, from within the company itself, they have a core people, the key R&D people that can go beyond and above, thinking about the product innovation, and then they have a good supplier that supply a good cost of material on dorang punya steel and so on, and then they have a good intermediaries that help to carry the product worldwide. Okay, that's why the business success and became a top 5 brand in the world. Okay. All right, and then next actor that can influence the strategic planning of the marketers, which is it came from the competitors. Okay, so the competitors, which is marketers, must gain a strategic advantage by positioning products strongly against competitors. That's why based on chapter 1 and also chapter 2, the importance of how the company need to have a good value proposition to compete with the other brand. All right, how you not project your brand in the marketplace so that easy as the customer to recall and aware on the existing of the value of your product or the services. Okay, they also must gain strategic advantage by positioning their offering strongly against competitors offering in the mind of consumer. No single strategy is best for all company. Of course lah, in the management punya subject, there are basic of management punya philosophy how to manage your company, but then in the real world, all right, how as the marketers need to strategically thinking about their own strategy to compete with the other competitors. Even you selling nasi lemak or scarf or keroncong, is there are a lot of numbers of competitors, all right, a newcomer that we compete with in the same industry. So that's why based on the management study, they believe the competitors is one key actor that close to the businesses that can affect the strategic planning. Okay. All right, and then next on the public or awam, okay, public any group that has an actual or potential interest in or impact on the organization ability to achieve its objective. So based on management, we know as the public is part of the stakeholder of the company. All right, even though you not the one who purchase, buying, use the product of the company, but then you have the right to want to sue the company. All right, if you believe the company doing harm ataupun wrongdoing unethical businesses that will affect the consumer or the customer. Okay, so first as the public, we have on the financial institution as the public punya opinion. All right, this group influence the company ability to obtain fund. For example, bank, investment analysts, and stockholder are the major financial public. All right, so normally we know how this financial public, okay, yang came from this banking sector, okay, sometimes they will oversee the performance of the company, all right, before they not granting the businesses ataupun the granting fund or grant. Of course, they will oversee, will check in terms of how ethic the business run and so on. Okay, so in the end, this public opinion on the financial punya um, institution will affect the decision of strategic planning of the company. All right, and the second, the media. This group carries news, features, editorial opinion, and other content. It include television station, newspaper, magazine, and blog, and other social media. All right, so all businesses need media. All right, positively to promote their product and also the services. But sometimes how this media can turn against the company when they heard rumors ke ataupun ethical business, any issue on the business itself. All right, so sometimes how media can turn the businesses into the gray area because of, yes, they're spreading bad rumors or false info to the public. That's why this media as the public can influence the strategic planning of the businesses as the marketers. Okay. All right, and then next, public we have on the governments. Okay, the government management must take government development into account. All right, of course, each of the marketers need to comply with the rules and policy that be guided. All right, present on this constitution. All right, so marketers must often consult the company lawyer on issue of product safety through advertising and others matters. Okay, so before you nak plan ataupun nak go for bombastic strategic planning, of course, whatever your strategy need to comply with the government punya rules and policy. For example, in Malaysia, all right, each of the marketers, each of the corporation cannot go direct one by one running the promotion activity. For example, if you alert based on the telco punya advertisement in television, how Secom running this promotion advertising, okay, to show about the beauty of the product compared to the Maxis and DG. For example, they only use color difference. Okay, so Secom blue, Maxis they project the green, and DG project the yellow color. They cannot state the brand ataupun the corporate names. Okay, it's against in Malaysia law. But then in overseas market, especially in America, all right, of course, you can easily go promoting your product, right, targeting one by one with the others brand, no problem. But in Malaysia, you cannot. And then next, public we have based on citizen Asian. All right, so citizen, okay, can be the resident at a certain area ke ataupun the rakyat itself. Okay, a company marketing decision may be questioned by consumer organization, environmental group, minority group, and others. All right, so sometimes how as citizen acts as the philosopher on the behalf of the citizen. Normally based on forming the association, badan-badan kebajikan ataupun badan-badan koperasi to fight with this to fight against with this unethical business run by the marketers. Okay, its public relation department can help it stay in touch with consumer and citizen group. Okay, so we know in Malaysia we have a lot of NGO, the environmental group and so on, fighting about the right of the consumer and so on. For example, yes, how today's the association or the environmental group fight for healthy food, natural product in the production and so on, because yes, ada a lot of issue on the obesity. For example, how the consumer organization normally fight with against the fast food chain industry, because they believe the fast food industry punya chain, for example McDonald, KFC, running business unethically, which is provide food that not safe to the customer because of the high numbers of salt and processed food and so on. Okay, that's why the public as the citizen Asian, okay, can influence the strategic planning of the marketers. Okay. And then next, as the local general and as the local general ni sebenarnya dia sama similar with the citizen action. Alright, so the local, which is our local people, this group include local community resident and organization. Large companies usually work to become responsible members of the local community in which they operate. For example, in India, alright, Coca-Cola open orang punya this bottle production center in India, but then there's an issue because of this Coca-Cola India pollute the water resources of the India citizen. Then how the local fight with the government in terms of yes to sue the Coca-Cola company in India, because yes they pollute the water resources, and then yes in the end Coca-Cola kena fine with the India punya company up to US like $1 million because they pollute the water resources of the resident, the local at this area. Okay, and then next on the general, a company need to be concerned about the general public attitude to its product activity. The public image of the company affect its buying behavior. Okay, general can be anyone, right? Can be consumer, customer, all right? So how as the customer, of course, can directly affect the business decision of the businesses, the marketers, and also the consumer, the person that use the product but not the one yang buying the product, can also influence, pressure the businesses, the marketers. Okay, and then next, which is we have on the internal. The internal, which is the public within the company itself, the stockholder. All right, so this group include worker, manager, volunteer, and the board of director. Large company use letter and other means to inform and motivate their internal public. When employees feel good about the companies they work for, this positive attitude spill over to external public. All right, so to run the business successfully, all right, of course, you as the marketers need to taking care on the public, both from the internal and also external stakeholder. All right, so these members of stakeholder easily, all right, especially on the internal stakeholder, can separate the rumors, or can help the company grow or go the other way around. All right, so kalau you not taking care the internal stakeholder rightly, okay, of course they will spill the tea easily with the media and so on, and then yes, will affect the business of the marketers to achieve their own strategic planning punya aim. Okay, all right, so next we have on the customer. All right, so customer is part of the actor that can influence the planning of the businesses. All right, so we know in the marketing, customer is the philosophy, the pioneer, the major, the primary punya important things as marketers need to satisfy. All right, so customer are the most important actor in the company microenvironment. The aim of the entire value-driven network is to engage target customer and create strong relationship with them. Right, so in the marketplace, there are different level of customer. First, we have on the consumer market, all right, the person that use the product, all right, consist of individual and household that buy good and service for personal consumption. And then, yes, we have another customer in different level of marketplace. For example, business to business. Normally, we will involved with the business market, which is based on buy good and service for further processing or use in their production processes. For example, based on B2B businesses, for example, how we can see Boeing and also what else? One more, Airbus, all right, selling the aircraft to the airline industry, for example, British Airways, Malaysia Airline, Asia, and so on. Okay. And then next on reseller market, buy good and service to resell at profit. It's normal in terms of how sometimes the wholesaler selling the product to the one seller, and then the seller will selling the product to the other sellers. All right. So of course, this reseller will mark up the price to get the profit. And then next on the government market, consist of government agency that buy good and service to produce public service or transfer the good and service to other who need them. All right. So from the context of the government market, you can see how the government dealing business with the other businesses. For example, yes, for the national security, all right, our government buying aircraft, all these equipment, firearm from this one corporation, for example, all right, to protect the citizen, all right, and then next on the international market, all right, today because of the free market globalization, you can see based on the international market, consist of this buyer in other country, including consumer, producer, reseller, and also the government. All right. So how as the customer, all right, can influence the strategic planning of the businesses, the marketers, because yes, at the end of the day, all right, the customer the one, the priority of the businesses to fulfill their own needs and want. All right, without them, all right, of course, the company cannot generate numbers of sale and profit. Simple as that. Okay. All right, so that's all for 3.1. As a summary, we have discussed six microenvironment, six actors that can influence decision making, strategic planning of the businesses that affect the marketers based on the company, supplier, marketing intermediaries, competitors, public, and customer. Okay, any question? Any
No,
question?
Miss.
Okay.
Miss.
Right. Okay, so next we proceed with 3.2. Explain how change in macro environment affect marketing decision. All right, so micro, which is the close factor that can affect the strategic planning of the marketers, and then the macro environment, which is the big factor, the external environment that can affect, yes, the marketing decision of the businesses. Okay, so first on the macro environment, larger societal forces that affect the macro environment. The macro environment refer to broader factor that can affect a business. All right, so there are total of six macro environment actor, okay, forces that can affect businesses. For example, demographic, all right, economic, natural, technology, political, and also the culture. Okay, so first on demographic environment. When we talk about demographic, all right, it consists of the idea of the difference between the society, all right, how we can differentiate the society based on the size, density, location of age, gender, and so on. All right, so demography is the study of human population in terms of size, density, location, age, gender, race, occupation, and other statistics. So that when the marketers go abroad, of course, they will facing with different level of demography. So that you need to know well about this demography so that you will provide atau produce the product and services that can tailor the specific demographic. Okay, so based on demographic environment, market analyze, which is change today's, okay, changing age and family restructure. All right, so previously dulu memang, alright, we know how people focus right after you graduate, yes, go for moving to the next family cycle punya stage, married and so on. But then today, based on the study, people more self-oriented, all right, marriage is not their priority. Okay, so how this trend can affect the marketers? Okay, and then yes, changing age in terms of, yes, the majority of the customer today came from generation X and Y. All right, no longer came from gene Y and also the Z, no longer the gene X, because the majority of the customer worldwide now came from my generation and your generation. So how it will affect decision making of the marketers to come up with the product that can tailor suit with these needs and the wants of these both generation. And then yes, today geographic population shift, okay, in terms of how the nation more diverse, all right, people move in and out, all right, so how the marketers can come up with a product that can tailor the needs and the wants of these people in the specific geographic location. Okay, and then next, as the marketers believe, educational characteristic will influence the way of consumer purchase of product and services. Normally, for those who receive a good education, all right, the way they behave, the way they act on purchase behavior is more complex than those who receive less education. Okay, and then next, today on the issue of population diversity, okay, it affect the marketers punya decision. Okay, contoh in Malaysia, alright, you can see because of the economic growth and so on, how the expatriate come and go, alright, running the business in a Malaysia context, alright. So how as the marketers uh, need to tailor ataupun need to identify what are their needs and the wants, all right, to make sure the ability of the product and also the services in this current market, for example. Okay. All right, so based on the population, based on the US population, contains several generation group, all right, divided based on the baby boomers, generation X, millennial, and also generation Z. Okay, so first, baby boomers, people born during the post-World War II, baby boom from 1946 to 1964, all right. The boomers constitute a beneficial market for financial services, new housing and home remodeling, new cars, travel, entertainment, eating out, health, and fitness products. So that those yang dalam this group baby boomers, we believe those yang these people, alright, dah pension, alright, so they ada stable financial. That's why as marketers, how to counter ataupun to focus focus on the marketing activity, which is yes, you can offer them these baby boomers on these product and services, because yes, at this point we believe dorang dah up to like 70, 80 and something, all right, they have a lot of cash, the good purchasing power. Okay, so you need to find a good product that can suit with your punya needs and wants. Okay, and then next on generation X, people born between 1965 and 1980. They are sensible shopper who research product heavily before they consider a purchase, prefer quality to quantity, and tend to be less receptive to overt marketing page. Okay, so Gen X is our parents, so that you can see based on the study, alright, they believe the Gen X people yang very economical, alright, they cannot simply spending their money, dorang very apa jimat lah, okay, on spending their money towards the product or the services. But once they find a brand, they tend to be more loyal than other generation group. All right, so you can see at your house. All right, so once your mom using the Maggi brand, all right, so all the condiment mesti came from the Maggi punya brand, for example. Okay, simple as that. Okay, and then next, the millennial or generation Y, all right, my generation, born between 1981 and 1997. One thing that all millennials have in common is their comfort with digital technology. All right, so we believe this consumer, which is people yang digital savvy. All right, the millennial were the first generation to grow up in a world filled with computer, mobile phone, satellite TV, iPod, and iPad, and online social media. All right, so as the marketers, all right, when you're dealing with this demographic environment that came from generation Y, you need to focus on digital punya product or services, because yes, these are the major interests of this millennial or generation Y. Okay, and then next, generation Z, your generation, young people born between 1997 and 2016. Take Wi-Fi, smartphone, tablet, internet connected game, console, and digital and social media for granted. They have always had them, making their group highly mobile, connected, and social. All right. So if they are awake, they are online, and they have digital in their DNA. All right. So this is the finding that the researcher find based on your generation. All right. Yang memang double digital savvy from generation Y. Everything is mobile. All right. Kalau tak ada Wi-Fi, you cannot live and so on. All right. So how as the marketers, all right, bila you dealing with this demographic, of course you kena think about the mobile marketing, things yang not that complex, so that easy for the young people live daily, for example. That's why you can see how the marketers today, all right, dah move toward traditional platform, go for digital platform to promote the product, selling the product from this cross platform social media, for example, Facebook, IG, Twitter, Snapchat, and so on. Okay. Alright, so for example here, the Louis punya company, alright, targeting Gen X. Louis market heavily to Gen X and homeowner with idea and advice on home improvement project and problem, arguing them to never stop improving, because we know the background of Gen X ni orang yang economical, orang yang into family, very love their own family. That's why the Louis market with this finding from the researcher, okay, they tailor orang punya service home improvement to this Gen X, because Gen X ni people yang economical, dia tak suka spending, they're more on the family view. That's why they tailor the service to the specific demographic. So as a marketers, this macro environment of course will influence heavily on your strategic planning, especially when the company go abroad, expanding their business in the other market, because you need to study about the difference of demography at the specific area. Okay. Any question?
No, miss.
Hello. Okay. All right. And then next factor, economic environment. Of course, the external environment on the economy, things that the marketers cannot control. All right. So normally how the businesses will affect heavily on this economic issue. All right. So you can see what happened last 2 years because of COVID. A lot of the marketers collapsed. Okay. A lot of our small, medium enterprise collapsed because of this issue on the economic instability. All right. So economic factor affect consumer purchasing power and spending. All right. So normal calculation, kalau economy perform, of course, as the rakyat, the people will have a big numbers of purchasing power. Okay, because of low inflation and so on. But then if the company not performing well, all right, so the purchasing power will drop, inflation rising, all right, the cost of product will increase, so that the customer cannot spend more. Okay, so economy will affect on the change in consumer spending and also differences in income distribution. Marketers should pay attention change in major economic level that have a large impact on the marketplace, such as income, cost of living, and saving and borrowing pattern. That's why you can see how the marketers, all right, keep redesigning the packaging, keep offering different level of product that more compatible with the income of the consumer, because yet with the rising cost of raw material, cost of all, of course, it affect the businesses 100%. All right, automatically when the cost of all increase, and then it will lead to the cost of high cost of raw material and ingredients. So how to cope with this issue? Normally the marketers will go for redesigning the product. Okay, buat product yang lebih compatible, match with the income of the consumer. Okay. All right, and then next factor that can affect the strategic planning of the marketers, which is came from the natural environment. Okay, physical environment and natural resources needed as input by marketers or affected by marketing activity, which is yes, today a lot of the public, that citizen group or the any local other ataupun external party pressuring the businesses to comply with the green and also the nature punya law. Okay, so environmental sensitivity concern have grown steadily over the past 3 decades. For example, past 3 years ago, all right, the ban of straw, okay, because affect ocean life, and then today no longer plastic apa during weekend and so on. Okay, and then the trend today, based on the natural environment, you can see the issue on shortage of raw material. Non-renewable resources such as oil, coal, and various mineral pose a serious problem. Okay lah, so kita tahu nak move point A to point B, of course need petrol, oil, and also kalau nak start all the machinery and so on, you need the oil. So how, for example, in Malaysia, kalau based on the oil statistic, Malaysia can sustain up to 2050. Okay, based on kita punya oil reserve. Okay, so how today the environmental group pressure the businesses to define ataupun to search for new renewable sources to go for the business operation. Okay, and then today trend, the increase of pollution, consider disposal of chemical and nuclear waste, the dangerous mercury level in the ocean, the quantity of chemical pollutant in the soil and food supply, and the littering of the environment with non-biodegradable bottle, plastic, and other packaging material. All right, so these are the issue that can affect the business operation of the marketers, because yes, sometimes we know how as the marketer normally kalau nak store the product, normally they will use plastic bottle packaging and so on. All right, so today because of this pressure came from this natural punya group, okay, how as the marketers need to define a new packaging punya material. Contohnya came from recycle punya item ke, sometimes dekat Jaya Grocer tak silap I, kalau dekat tempat vegetable punya chef, dia dah wrap with the banana leaf and so on to reduce the issue on this non-biodegradable plastic. Okay. And then next, today trend based on the natural environment, which is increased government intervention. Okay, because of yes, a lot of issue of pollution and so pollution and so on. That's why the government take an action to interfere ataupun intervene the businesses. All right, the government of different countries vary in their concern and effort to promote a clean environment. Some, such as the German government, vigorously pursue environmental quality. Others, especially poor nation, do little about pollution, largely because they lack the needed fund or political will when government does not act. Alright, so normally kalau a company or the country that stated based on third world country, for example, Africa, and then Burma, okay, third world country, of course, there are a lot of issue on pollution, but then today in Malaysia, okay, how the government intervention, the business, the market of your business to protect the right of the citizen. All right. Okay, and the next factor on the macro environment we have on technology environment. Okay, so how the advancement technology will affect the marketers punya strategic planning. First, new technology create new market opportunity, of course. All right, to remain competitive, to sustain in the industry, of course, you need to cope with the changes of the technology, adapt this technology in your punya production ataupun you punya product. Right, so today we talk about the technology in terms of how you can see the marketers dah move from traditional platform to digital technology to selling their product using social media, website and so on. No longer establish this brick and mortar store to sell the product. And then next, with the technology of radio frequency identification (RFID), is technology to track product through various point in distribution channel. All right, so especially for marketers that selling product overseas, how to track the movement of the product, so that with the simple barcode RFID, you can scan, all right, you can see the movement of the product from point A to the point B. Okay, and then second, in terms of the government agency, investigate and ban potentially unsafe product. Yes, sometimes the issue on the technology advancement, which is yes, some of the company or the marketers go beyond on this ethical business. All right, they go producing product yang harm to the people. All right, for example, Huawei has dealt with numerous accusations over the years of shady business practices. It also has been accused, although with no hard proof, of using its product to spy on other nations. For example, that's why during the government of Donald Trump, okay, the government, the constitution banned Huawei and also take the legal action on the CEO of Huawei, because they believe the Huawei punya mobile phone can spying people punya iPhone tak show on technical punya side, okay, spy and also collect all the data from this simple mobile phone. Okay, that's why the government intervention to protect the people in United States. Okay. And then yes, for example, the Disney, okay, taking advantage of this technology, okay, which is yes, using this RFID technology to new level with a cool new Magic Brand RFID wristband. All right, so Disneyland, okay, they use this RFID, okay, so easy for the customer to in and out orang punya theme park, okay, with simple RFID you can track the location of your customer, okay. No longer using the physical card. Okay. All right. And then next, actor or forces that can affect the marketers to achieve their own strategic planning in terms of political environment. All right. So when we talk about politics, is refer to the government at the specific location. Okay. Forces that influence or limit various organization and individual in society. All right. So when we talk about political, it involves a law, government agency, and also the pressure group. Almost every marketing activity is subject to a wide range of law regulation, of course. All right. So for example, Malaysia brand House Boom, all right, nak go expanding the business overseas, you need to register your patent, your product in this political at a specific country. Even though you dah registered you punya patent and so on in Malaysia, but then once you go overseas market, you need to get the approval on this patent of your product before you can operate your businesses. Okay. For example, in US, major US legislation affecting marketing. First, legislation regulating business is intended to protect company from each other, consumer from unfair business practices, and also the interest of society against unrestrained business behavior. Okay, so basically, why the political environment, the government at the specific country intervene, all right, the businesses, because yes, at the end of the day, the main idea which is to protect their own people, the citizen, all right, because yes, kalau contohnya customer kalau facing with issue bila purchase tak dapat things yang the company promise, so that yes you can report to the ministry pengguna in Malaysia for example, to fight on the behalf of you dekat legal and so on, alright, untuk dapatkan refund. Okay. Alright, and then next on the cultural environment. Okay, so cultural based on the institution and other forces that affect society basic value, perception and behavior. Alright, so when we talk about culture, budaya, of course, it reflect the society punya philosophy, perception and also behavior. Different culture have their own ways of thinking, their own way of taking an action. Okay, contohnya kalau in Malaysia, we have different level of ethnic. So each of ethnic have their own culture. Okay, persistent or culture value. First, we will discuss the core. All right, so core belief and value have high degree of persistence. Core belief and value are passed on from parent to children and are reinforced by school, businesses, religious institution, and government. All right, so each of country ataupun each of ethnic have their own core belief, own culture. All right, so for example, as a Malay, all Malay believe nak masuk rumah, of course kena cabut slipper for example. But sometimes within the Malay, say, oh kalau makan you need to use your own hand lah, bukan guna utensil for example, the core culture. Alright, so as the marketer, you need to know about the culture at the specific location. For example, kalau towards food, you believe this is majority Muslim, alright, you need to make sure you produce product halal, dapatkan the agreement, the approval from the JAKIM, for example, right? And then each of ethnic sometimes will exercise secondary belief and value are more open to change, all right? Even though we have our own core value, sometimes within us, for example, each of ethnic, each of these Malaysian have their own secondary culture that they exercise, okay? All right, so based on secondary belief, okay, it reflect on the shift in secondary culture value of people views about. Okay, so we know each of individual, each of the customer have the core value that reflect their own culture, their own society, but then each of these people have their own right to exercise their secondary culture. Okay, so sometimes how you can measure the secondary culture of people based on people view of themselves. So first, people use product, brand and services as a mean of self-expression, and they buy product and service that match their view of themselves. Alright, so memang each of ethnic, each of the country ada their own core value on preferring ataupun buying a product and services, but then sometimes as the human, because we have our own right to choose, all right, to have a good living. That's why before the individual purchase a product, yes, it will reflect on their own secondary culture, okay, to match with their own preference, okay. And then some of them, sometime before they purchase a product, they will exercise the secondary culture based on people view of others, which is yes, they're looking toward the other opinion before they purchase a product, alright. Walaupun you dah ada core culture, sometimes you believe the social, your colleague or the members of your friend will influence the purchase decision. Consumer, increasingly tap digitally into network of friend and online brand community to learn about and buy product and to shape and share brand experiences. The new way of interacting strongly affect how company market their brand and communicate with customer. All right. So today you can see in social media, sometimes people form a group. Contoh kalau dekat Facebook, group kaki DIY, camping and so on. Sometimes before the customer purchase the product, normally they will taking the input, the opinion from this view of others. Okay, even though they have their own core value, sometimes they will exercise their secondary culture, which is yes, allowing others to influence their own decision. Okay, and then next, people view of organization. People vary in their attitude toward cooperation. Government agency, trade union, university, and other organization. By and large, people are willing to work for major organization and expect them in turn to carry out society work. Okay, so before the customer purchase a product and services, sometimes some of the customer will exercise their own secondary culture, which is yes, we analyze the view, analyze the performance ataupun the practice organization. Alright, if the businesses ethical, yes, they will support and purchase the product from this corporation. But then vice versa, they will against and ban the businesses and supporting the company. Okay, so for example, kalau in Malaysia, for example, within us as a Malay Muslim, alright, so you can see how people exercise their own secondary cultural value. For example, some of the Malay Muslim exercise, which is yes, before they purchase product, they need to make sure the product came from the Muslim punya producer. That's why we have contoh in Cyberjaya, Malakat Mall, alright, especially which is carry a specific product that owned by the Muslim itself. That's why we have the movement of BMF, by Muslim first, alright, because we believe some of the people, the customer exercise their own secondary cultural value, which is yes, they view the organization first before they purchase the product or the services. Okay. All right, and then next, based on the people view of society, people rotation to their society influence their consumption pattern, attitude toward the marketplace. All right, one annual consumer survey show that some brands are highly associated with patriotism, such as Jeep, Levi Strauss, Disney, Coca-Cola, and Ford. All right, so on the secondary culture value in terms of how sometimes as the people believe that the inner culture represent ataupun carry the value of patriotism, for example, right? So kalau you people yang patriotic, alright, of course you will support any product that made in Malaysia, for example, Proton, apa VV punya product, macam-macam lah, okay. But then in American context, you can see those people yang believe dia nak jadi responsible society, responsible citizen to the US state, alright, they support this American brand, for example, Jeep, Levi Strauss, Genie, Coca-Cola, and Ford. Okay, so each of the customer is openly can exercise their own secondary culture. Okay, and then second, people view of nature. More recently, however, people have recognized that nature is limited and fragile. It can be destroyed or spoiled by human activity. This renewal love of things natural has created a sizable market of consumers who seek out everything from natural, organic, and nutritional product to fuel efficient car and alternative medicine. All right, so today you can see in terms of how people exercise their own secondary culture value in terms of yes, people today more concerned about the quality of food, demand for the natural green product. That's why the booming of business industry that provide this type of food. Food, for example, in Malaysia we have a grain, eat to more, a lot of retailers that carry a green product that not using any fertilizer and so on. All right. Okay. So how, and also based on the EV, electric vehicle, all right, the demand of the people, all right, to exercise the secondary culture, okay, because tak nak pollute the environment. Okay, that's why the marketers need to respect on the secondary view of the nation, which is yes, we believe there are enough numbers of customers that demand for this specific product. That's why as marketers see the opportunity and also selling, offering this type of product to this specific consumer. All right, and then the last one on the people view of universe. Finally, people vary in their belief about the origin of the universe and their place in it. Although most American practice religion, religious conviction and practice has been dropping off gradually through the years. Alright, so today in American punya culture, a lot of the Christian dah convert jadi atheist. Alright, they believe religion is more individual punya right. Alright, complex. That's why rather than stated the exact religion, they go for spirituality punya practice. Okay, rather than calling it religion, they call it spirituality. These changes spiritualism affect consumer everything from television show they watch and the books they read to the product and service they buy. For example, how the marketers need to cope with this secondary culture, the secondary practice of the people, young people more open about religion, not believe in the God and so on. All right, so how marketers need carefully study about these people in terms of yes, producing product that more natural, not projecting any religion or suit with the any religion practice, for example. Okay. All right. So, for example, based on the cultural environment, this any corporation and is homegrown, riding the natural organic food trend and is out to create a happier and healthier world with introducing a product that are forever kind to the planet. All right, because today the demands of the people view of the nature. That's why and is homegrown come out with this organic pasta for the macaroni and cheese, for example. Okay. All right, so that's all for 3.2 summary. Okay, we have discussed the six factor that can influence the strategic planning of the marketers from the big scope, big operate a big environment, which is yes based on the demographic, economic, natural environment, technology, political, and also culture. Okay, any question?
No, Miss.
Alright, so wait I nak double check balik the name okay yang missing tadi. No Amira Aliza. No Amira Aliza. Nur Nur Alisa Aina. Nur Alisa Aina. Oko Amar. Rahman Arif. Okay, still MIA. Alright, wait, this one siapa ni? 107. Fitra Aisyah, Nur Fitra Aisyah. No Fitra.
Saya Miss.
Okay, so next class, please state your full name. Boleh? Bila you join the class, please state
Okay,
your
Miss.
full name. Okay, because easy for me to track the attendance later. Kalau tidak nanti dia keluar you punya student ID saja. Okay, alright, thank you. Alright, we take 5 first and then we proceed with the other 2 subtopic. Thank you. Okay, continue. Okay, so next subtopic on explain ethical behavior in business. Okay, so first, ethical behavior in business. Good ethics are cornerstone of sustainable marketing. All right. So simple, right? If you running a business at a good philosophy, all right, a good practice, ethical, respect others, do not harm, and so on. Of course, the company can sustain. In the long run, unethical marketing harm customer and society. Further, is eventually damage the company reputation and effectiveness, jeopardizing its very survival. All right. So kalau you ada baca case study based on the Aaron case study in terms of how these big financial institution in US, all right, collapse because of running a business unethically. All right, within a 5 years, all right, the businesses claim the business success, can lending a big numbers of loan to the other people, but then the business practice unethical financial punya statement, which is overlap the right numbers of the liquidity. Okay, and then next, many industry and professional association have suggested code of ethic, and many company are now adopting their own code. All right, so for example in Malaysia, of course, each of the private company need to comply with the SSM punya regulation. Okay, oh sorry. Right. So, for example, the American Marketing Association and International Association of Marketing Manager and Scholar developed a code of ethics that call on marketers to adopt the following ethical norm. Right. So, because of the issue of pollution, the issue of unethical practice, for example, fraud, bribery, money laundering, that's why the government intervened. All right, and also a lot of association and also the government body highlighting on the policy constitution of the businesses to comply while running their own businesses. Okay, so first, based on the American Marketing Station, highlight about do not harm. This means consciously avoiding harmful action or omission by embodying high ethical standard and adhering to all applicable law and regulation in the choice we made. All right, so each of the marketers need to make sure they not simply make harm to the customer or the public. All right, for example, make sure the product is safe. Contohnya last time dekat China, the issue of E. coli dalam powder milk that affect the health of the baby, ramai yang kena diarrhea semua and so on. Okay, and then second, foster trust in the marketing system. This means striving for good faith and fair dealing to contribute toward the efficiency of the HM process, as well as avoiding deception in product design, pricing, communication, and delivery of distribution. to make sure your business sustain. Okay, the association, the American Marketing Association highlight about the foster trust in marketing system, because especially today, the market is open, free market. All right, sometimes as the customer can easily order a product from cross country. For example, you as a user gunakan Shopee untuk beli produk from China and so on. Alright, so macam mana the American Marketing Station nak highlight about, yes, a project about the value of trust, which is, yes, you as businesses kena make sure you delivered the item that the customer ordered. Alright, make sure the item yang delivered tu based on the specification that you stated. Okay, and then next, on the embrace ethical value, this means building relationship and enhancing customer confidence in the integrity of marketing by affirming this core value, which is, yes, today, because a lot of the issue unethical practice, that's why the American Marketing Station highlight about each organization need to have a good foundation, good ethical value, which is, yeah, exercise honesty, responsibility, fairness, respect, transparency, and also citizenship. Alright, yes, we know in Malaysia, for example, each of the both public and private company will go through this audit punya system, but sometimes some of the businesses, the marketers, will run the unethical practice of the audit, yes, hiring the audit firm yang belong to dia punya association ataupun diorang punya clique, and then, yes, will cover the right information to the stockholder that will affect the investor future on later on for the numbers of dividend and so on. That's why Malaysian and also the government and also this famous American Marketing Station highlight about these three ethical behavior in business to remain sustained, to remain competitive in the industry. Each of the businesses, the marketers should not do not harm, foster trust in marketing system, and also embrace ethical value. Okay, so that's all for 3.3 in terms of, yes, today, because of the issue of greedy, unethical business. That's why the association highlight about do not harm, foster trust, and also embrace ethical value. Okay, and then the last topic for this chapter in terms of explain CSR responsibility. Okay, so how as the marketers can exercise the ethical value, which is, yes, while running this CSR activity. For example, in Malaysia, you can see how Starbucks collaborate with Frame. I pernah join before MCO, pergi tanam pokok dekat Frame. Alright, and then you can see how TV3 collaborate with the Faiza running CSR activity to help those needed and so on. Okay, so to project ethical practice in organization to get a good a view, positive view, and also support from the investor, financial institution. Of course, company need to run this CSR activity. Okay, so socially responsible behavior, which is a socially responsible company actively seek out way to protect the long run interests of consumer and the environment. Okay, so we know the stakeholder of the company came from internal and external. All right, not within your organization itself, not within your close actor itself, which is the competitors, consumer, but then, yes, you need to taking care the external environment that can easily affect your business or the strategic planning. For example, the media, the government, the public, and so on. Okay, company develop policy, guideline, and other response to complex social responsibility issue. That's why today, our government, for example, granted the tax exemption to the company that run the CSR. Right, so to avoid ataupun to reduce the payment of tax to the government. Alright, so how today the public and also the private sector, okay, running this CSR activity and also can get the tax exemption for the government. Okay, so how as the marketers run the CSR activity, normally they will create this cost-related marketing. Cost-related marketing, which is company use cost-related marketing to exercise their social activity and also build more positive image. For example, kalau fast food industry, contohnya McDonald, KFC, diorang suka buat cost-related marketing, which is buat pergi kunjung rumah anak yatim, rumah orang tua during festive season and so on, ataupun during nak masuk sekolah, dia orang support rumah-rumah kebajikan and so on. Okay, primary form of corporate giving, controversy, strategy for selling more rather than strategy for giving. Yes lah, sometimes ada certain marketer businesses yang, yes, just promote more, but then the numbers of donation atau the numbers of CSR very little that can benefit the members of this party ataupun the association yang dorang nak tolong. Okay. Okay, so for example, Ben and Jerry company, the ice cream company, running this cost-rated marketing in terms of yes, based on the cost-rated marketing, Ben and Jerry three-part link prosperity mission drive is to make fantastic ice cream. All right. So first, of course, whatever is the priority, which is yes to satisfy the customer needs and wants. Of course, you need to come out with the fantastic ice cream, and then second, sorry. Manage the company for sustainable financial growth, right? After you can win the heart of your customer by producing a good ice cream, of course, later on you will get a good numbers of sales that can support your financial growth, and use the company in a active way to make the world a better place, which is yes, contribute back to the society through social mission, which is based on this CSR activity. All right. Both Ben and Jerry and its product are made of something better. Okay, which is yes, how to make sure that company can achieve their own strategic planning. All right, even though you were facing with different level of these macro and so micro environment, which is yes, as the marketers, the business need to make sure whatever situation that you face, you need to run the business ethically. Yes, firstly, you think about the customer need, and then yes, later on the customer will support your businesses, and then you can grow numbers of profit, and then with the profit that you get, you can wave ataupun share with the people that needed, for example through CSR activity. Okay, so for example for Ben and Jerry, diorang ada diorang punya own cost rated marketing, tak silap I, Caring Joy, dia punya program Caring Joy, which is yes, dia similar with McDonald's so on, pergi dekat rumah anak yatim, rumah orang tua, to ni lah bagikan diorang happiness, which is diorang carry diorang punya product line, which is ice cream at this specific location. Okay. Alright, so that's all for 3.4 summary, which is yes, in terms of how as the marketers can exercise these ethical businesses in industry, which is yes, you can run this CSR activity based on the cost rated marketing. Either you your company form a program, okay, or maybe you can collaborate with other party within the industry. Okay, so what activity did in terms of yes, they collaborate with Faiza, alright, to tailor the profit to these people yang poor in Malaysia, for example. Okay, any question? Hello, any question?
No. No, miss.
Okay, so alright, so basically we finish on chapter 3. Okay, so based on the course planner second week, jap ya, I tunjuk kat you. Semalam ada ke yang pergi pergi open house raya KPTM? Anyone attending? Ada siapa pergi? Course information. This one, wait. Alright, so kalau you refer to this course information, alright, the one I shared dekat MAS last time, alright, so on the first week, we have finished for the first 2 chapter, and then last week, no class because I on emergency leave, alright, so this week, okay, first we will cover for the first 2 chapter on chapter 3 and 4, so today we finish on chapter 3, and then tomorrow, we try to cover for the first 3 subtopic, and then on Friday for the class replacement yesterday, we will continue with the 3 subtopic. Okay, so insyaAllah by Friday, we finish for the second week's punya course planning. And then on Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, alright. So for this week punya plan, okay, I need to finish on chapter 5 because next week, alright, insyaAllah Monday ke hari apa, I double confirm balik. Kita kena buat first assessment, which is yes, kita kena run test, alright. Test cover chapter 1 until chapter 5. That's why I kena cepat untuk class assessment so that kita boleh go back to the schedule, follow balik based on this course planner, okay. So for week 3, Alright, 4 hours for lecture for this subject, for this chapter, and then 2 hours for tutorial. Okay, so the plan is on Saturday we will finish. We try to finish on chapter 5, and then yes, right after we finish the class, kita akan dismiss. You tak perlu nak tunggu up to 1 o'clock, and then I will upload the tutorial, all 5 chapter tutorial in the LMS, so that I bagi you up until Sunday midnight to submit the tutorial. Okay. All clear?
Alright, Miss.
Okay. Alright.
Yes.
Okay, so I see you guys tomorrow. We will continue on new chapter 4, based on the consumer market and buyer behavior. Okay, before we end our class, siapa lagi yang tak ada group assignment? Nazarudin,
Saya,
sorry.
Miss.
Okay, so sorry because you reaching me last week. Sorry, I on emergency leave because I dekat KPJ and so on. So I sorry because I tak boleh nak entertain you. But then I promise dengan you, I akan discuss dengan you this week. Okay, alright. So wait, I double check dekat list tu. Okay. Alright, wait, because I said last time, each of group please form between 5 to 6, okay. Okay, so dekat group 1 tu still missing a name, alright, so why not Nazarudin and siapa lagi tadi, raise your hand tu tadi, just state your name dekat group 1 tu, later maybe those yang tak ada group just joining you punya group, boleh?
Okay, group 1 Miss.
Group 1, because dekat group 1 tu tak ada lagi siapa-siapa yang mention state diorang punya name. You just letak you punya name, later siapa yang tak ada group lagi just join group 1, okay?
Okay.
Alright.
Miss.
Okay, 6. Sik, tersisik 6, 7, 8. Wait, 42. I punya ni 42, 43. Okay, tak apa, you just state dulu your name dekat group 1. Nanti kalau tak cukup members of 5, maybe ada one group kena ni lah, buat team dia 5 orang, and then another one group tu kena move to your group. Okay, to be fair macam tu, because tak boleh less than 5 and then tak boleh over 6 of members within a group. Okay, so kita tengok dulu later nanti macam mana. Alright, so ada apa-apa nak tanya before we end our session? Hello. Anything you nak tanya?
No, Miss.
Okay, so next week, maybe I punya plan, alright. So kita akan buat test on Thursday, so that you ada plenty of time to study and so on. Alright, so you punya test is based on handwritten, okay. Ada total of 5 question, one chapter, one question, 20 mark each question. So that the marks for the test is 50, but then time 2 equal to 100%. And then your carry mark for the test, wait, double check.
Miss, yang tutorial tu this Sunday
Yes, this Sunday. Ada one question je for each chapter. Don't worry,
Tutorial Miss bagi kat group atau LMS?
I dekat LMS. You dah boleh access LMS or not?
Yes. Dah boleh.
Okay.
Oh, dekat LMS Okay, Miss.
Dekat LMS. Tapi I tak upload lagi.
Okay.
Once I clear, finish all my syllabus right after, chapter, yes. Right after Saturday, once we finish on chapter 5, baru I akan bagi tutorial. Okay? Anyone yang tak boleh access LMS? Ada tak lagi yang tak boleh access LMS? Tadi kan I rasa semua dah boleh because your name dah ada dalam my section confirm name. Okay, so tak apa. I see you guys tomorrow. We will proceed with a new chapter, chapter 4. So today basically on the chapter 3, very basic in terms of how as the macro and so micro environment will affect the marketers to achieve their own strategic planning on achieving their punya vision and mission. And then yes, to make sure the business sustain, okay, as the marketers you need to run the business ethically, and then yes, how to run the ethical business, all right, to project a good value, which is yes, you can run CSR activity. Okay, so tomorrow we continue on chapter 4 based on consumer buying behavior to obviously how as the individual, the customer purchase a product, and then what type of the atau what are the factor that can influence the decision of the customer before they purchase a product. Okay, so before we end our session today, please recite doa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirrabbilalamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Allahumma
Alright,
aftah 'alaina hikmataka wa anshur 'alaina min khazaini rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbi sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina adzabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wasallam. Alhamdulillah.
Alright, thank you Nazruddin. Okay, so stay safe, take care, see you guys tomorrow. Alright, assalamualaikum.